Madam Deputy Chairman, I have heard with rapt attention a debate on a grave issues of national concern. I do not think there could have been a subject more serious, graver, and more vital for the health of our democracy and for the health of our nation than the subject of price rise is. And therefore, I hope that this debate would be a non partition debate. But I am disappointed and I do not want to apportion blame. I do not want to make an intervention by way of criticism of a party or of my colleagues who have preceded me. But I do not want to make a brief intervention in order to draw attention one more time to fact that stare us in the face. Madam, no debate can serve its purpose. No argument can be credible if it files in the face or in the teeth of fact, because facts are obdurate. They just refuse to go away. Even if we choose to look away, they will come back to haunt us, and that is why my esteemed friend and some of our friends across the benches did repeatedly go to the fact, but I would, without repeating the fact, only draw attention during the course of my submission to at least four principal facts that explain the reality of marginal increase in prices. I will not run away from that reality, but from around 4% in April, the inflation stands at 7%, and I cannot doubt that somewhere it will impact the ordinary man. But I do not make bold to state that this government can certainly not be faulted either in its exertion or in its intent. I must remind with all humility my friends in the opposition that the slogan of Aam Aadmi was not a slogan for us. It was a matter of creed. It was a matter of conviction. And this government came to power by going to the court of the people with welfare of the common man as the soul of its campaign. It is as much this soul, the soul of this campaign, the chapter of this government that brought this government into power. Sir, we have taken steps, remedial steps, and urgent steps to absorb the shock or the impact on the rise in prices. But before I tell this House and share with this House the concrete steps that have been taken by this government to minimize the adverse impact of the price rise on the daily existence of the common man, I must draw attention to the inescapable reality which is reflected in these facts. Madam, it is by all accounts an imported inflation. I really must compliment our finance minister, because I have always believed that the most difficult job in a country like India is the job of the finance minister. Whatever you may do, it is not enough. But realizing that the international scenario is leading to a situation where if the states were not to intervene effectively and purposely, there would be a much intense pain and pressure on the common man. What did we do? Instead of rising revenues and taxing people more, he absorbs the burden. Excise duty on petrol, while which he could have raised or at least have kept at what its current level was reduced by 3%. Excise duty on diesel and kerosene was also reduced by 3% and 4% respectively. All I intend to convey my citing these figures is that this government has been sensitive to the need for an effective purposes, meaningful and rational intervention. There could be an argument that something more could have been done. But then, madam, there is also a question of harmonizing activities, of harmonizing the competing imperatives. My distinguished friend, the Minister of Petroleum, intervening in the debate on other day, made a very forceful point, and he said the PSUs, the oil companies could perhaps have absorbed more. But then, what do we do with the continued viability of these institutions, which are, in a way, the security of future? Energy security is as much a national imperative as food security, and there can be no compromise on fundamentals. Added to these, madam, is another reality, the reality of excess liquidity in the market. When there is too much liquidity, there is bound to be an inflationary spell, and that is exactly what had happened. Madam, with your leave, I would like to state only this, that the time for us to muddle through is over. We no longer have the luxury of political rhetorics when it comes to sound economic fundamentals. We are not oblivious. This government cannot be and is not oblivious to its primary responsibilities. The leader of UPA, Shrimati Sonia Gandhi, and the Honorable Prime Minister, the leader of the government, have repeatedly stated that the first charge on the resources is of the ordinary man.